second.
Why don't you take my answer? I should go first. Because
Guys.
I don't know.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Every day? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cut. Not kidding.
Hey, it's me, your sis girling. One step closer, Christian life.
Hey guys, welcome to One Step Closer. Today our brothers are gonna answer the third question, which is why they think modesty is so important. Let's get right to it.
Hi, my name is Jerry.
I'm Cesar.
Hi, my name is Ronald.
Hi, my name is Akeem.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris.
I'm James.
My name is Jose.
Why do you think modesty is important?
That's a good question.
And that is a really good question. Let me start by answering that. So modesty is really important to help keep us accountable. Every day, often when we look on the television, when we look at billboard signs, magazines, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like what we see for modesty is often defined in Hollywood, or through a lot of the sources out there today. So this is why it's so important that we should know the biblical principles of modesty, and it should be important also not to lean on others, but to really discover for ourselves why we believe modesty is important. It's very key.
Yeah, to back up on that, mentioning the biblical principles of modesty, it's, why I think it's important. First of all, I think it's very important. You think about, think about the Bible and all the amazing Bible stories in the Old Testament, but they're not just amazing stories. They actually have really good significance for our personal, practical, and daily lives. For example, I think of the story in Exodus chapter 19, where you have God instructing Moses to tell the Israelites to wash all their clothes and put them on before they actually come before God on the mount, which they didn't because their hearts weren't changed. So you think about things like that. God is very interested in clothing. You think about all the specifications and instructions given to the priests for the sanctuary. They were told to put on certain clothing, even a hat. You think about all the other stories. You think about Zechariah chapter 3, where Satan is accusing Joshua for his character flaws, and you have Jesus who's taking off Joshua's clothes and giving him new clothes and a new hat. So clothes are very important in the Bible. And you think about Paul's writings, where Paul tells us to actually put on Jesus Christ. So not only is clothing significant in spiritual things, it comes from the natural, which is physical things. So it's very important.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to add, I actually use one of the verses I had in mind. On a practical level, I think that this is important. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but we live amongst people that first impressions matter. And I think something important to guard is your character, your reputation.
That's true.
But I want to appeal to one of his examples that Chris used, because some of us might have ruined that chance already. Some of us might have stained our character in the past. And I like that example in the book of Zechariah because the old character was removed. Those clothes were changed out, and then a new garment was put on, one that was spotless, perfect. So, I like to use that for an encouragement, because despite what our past might have been, what our reputation may have been, through Christ we can establish a new one, and one that'll definitely lead to very, very favorable results.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why is modesty?
Well, going back to the first word, like the question was asked, what is modesty? I would say respect. Like I said, modesty is important because for me it shows respect by what you wear. So let's say, if you go to see President Obama, what would you wear? Would you wear cut jeans or shorts?
Like a
Or-
swag,
Yeah, you would not wear those kinds of clothes. You would wear like legit looking, right?
Suit.
And stuff like that. And that shows respect
for the other
to
person.
the other people.
Mhm.
You render the things that just these are the things that I got. So you show that respect to Obama. By the way you dress, and also you go to church, you dress modestly because God is what Jesus showing humility in Himself by the way He dressed when He was on earth. So you come to God with that respect of the way you dress, by the way you by the way you act, because you, like I said, God always looks at the heart. That's what people always say. Don't look at the outer appearance. Look at the heart. But God, when God made us, He looked at our whole form. He said we were good. So God prioritizes also outside appearance. So we need to give that respect and the outward adornment.
And also, just to avoid our like some, how to say, in the case of let's say if a girl was like super hot, like she's not wearing even a miniskirt, but it's like a broad belt, you know, because it's like you're, well, this has like two parts, because on one side you may be calling men, oh, you're men, like you might be demeaning men, but I guess it also goes on the other side, you know. But how to explain it? Like you are helping, like you're helping your brother or sister to get into some thoughts that may not be the purest thoughts. But we gotta be careful who we bash. Because like, oh, you ladies always dress so like sensual, but then it's like, well, what about the guys?
Yeah.
Anyways,
something that I wanted to point out is that it's important because God says it's important. God requires modesty, and when you look at 1 Timothy 2, 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9.
You're talking about Paul, the outward adornment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. That was that verse.
First Timothy.
1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9.
Okay.
Here's what the Bible says. It says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. So when we look at in here, God is requiring modesty. He's requiring it in the way that we dress, the way that we look. Now, how it goes even further than that is something that Jesus mentioned in Mark chapter 7. In Mark chapter 7, as he is talking with the Jews, the Pharisees and so, the way that they treated the Gentiles and how they didn't want to eat without washing their hands first. And Jesus made a profound statement in Mark chapter 7 where he says that it is not that which is without that defiles a man, but it is that which is found within him, his heart. So what that really means in terms of modesty and in how we dress is that it's not so much that God is looking at how we are dressing that is the issue, but the issue is our hearts. It is our hearts, because it has, when God is telling us to let go of something or to do something a certain way, but we are trying to hold on to it, the issue is not the dress itself, because it's just an item, but the issue is the heart, and that is what defiles the man or the woman. So God requires it because he said so in his word, but also he doesn't want our hearts to be in the wrong place.
You know, it's really powerful, as all of you guys are pointing out. The outward appearance is an indicator of the heart. And this is why, in most cases, this is the case. There are people who may not know the truth as it concerns dress, and God meets them where they are. But I'm also realizing, in light of what we're seeing, is that sometimes if a person doesn't know about these things, there's some people who know about these things, yet they're still not dressing in the right way. Or they may know about these things, they don't want to obey it, but they dress the right way, and it's almost like a deception. You see what I'm saying? So they're doing it, but they're not really converted, right? So it becomes a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. The heart is not transformed, right? So as I was looking at this, in verse 9 of 1 Timothy 2, and verse 9 and 10, it says, in like manner, as you read, Ronald, also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with what? Shamefacedness and sobriety. And so that means that when it comes to modesty, it's not only how we dress, but it's also how we conduct ourselves, how we carry ourselves, what we do, what we say, because ultimately it's going to do this. It says at the end of the verse, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but check it out, but which becometh woman professing godliness, right, with good works. So that means the reason that we practice this understanding of dressing right and carrying ourselves in the right way is because we're trying to reflect the character of God. We want people to see that, whoa, this is what God is like when they look at us, right?
That's in another version. It says, should adorn themselves in respectable manner. Like I was like, another respect. I didn't realize it was here. I didn't know. Yes. Well, like, you know, talking about dressing or something like that. My mind is just talking about vegan dressing or
Vegan dressing.
Yes. I want to comment on that. That 1 Timothy 2 verse 8 through 10. It says, talking about the desire of women wearing it. It's when Paul talks about this, it's not talking about, he's not anti-adornment. You know, he is saying that when women should adorn themselves, these are not the words of an anti-fashion. So he was just saying the word adorn is used to speak at a bride in Revelation 21 verse 2. It's a term expressed being ornamented, well kept, and put in order. So it's not about showing you know, your highness or your jewelry and stuff like that, but it's actually to put in order in how you should dress and stuff like that. So
going along with the double standard thing, it's good to look at verse 8, which says, "Thus I want that the men pray in all places, lifting up holy hands without ire nor contention." So I guess this is like the adornment standard for men, going along that line in the text.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this video is gonna be a little bit of as you can tell, this video is gonna be a little different. It was really powerful. It was really